Neil Diamond is one of the most recognizable voices in American music history. Known worldwide for timeless songs like Sweet Caroline, he built a career that spanned more than 5 decades and touched millions of listeners. With more than 130 million records sold, numerous chart-topping albums, and inductions into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame, his achievements speak for themselves. Yet behind the applause and packed arenas was a life filled with personal struggles, sacrifices, and moments of reflection. Diamond's music often felt deeply personal because it came from real experiences: joy, loneliness, love, and perseverance. Fans connected with his songs not only because of their melodies, but because they carried emotion and honesty. His journey from humble beginnings to global fame reminds us that success often comes with unseen challenges, and that the most powerful art often grows from real life. Growing up in Brooklyn, Neil Diamond was born on January 24, 1941, in Brooklyn, New York, during the uncertain years of World War II. His parents, Akiba and Rose Diamond, were Jewish immigrants whose families had come from Eastern Europe in search of a better life. Like many immigrant families of the time, they worked hard to build stability while raising their children. Neil's father sold dry goods, traveling from place to place, while his mother helped manage the household and later worked as a bookkeeper. Their family moved frequently around Brooklyn neighborhoods as they searched for affordable housing and opportunity. Life was modest, but it was filled with determination and strong family values. The environment around him, busy streets, crowded apartments, and diverse communities, quietly shaped the young boy who would later write songs that resonated with millions. Even as a child, Neil observed the world carefully, storing emotions and stories that would eventually find their way into his music. A childhood interrupted by war. During World War II, Neil's father was drafted into the military, leaving Rose to care for her young sons on her own. She temporarily moved the family to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they stayed while Akiba served in the army. For young Neil, the change was dramatic. The wide-open landscapes of Wyoming were very different from the crowded neighborhoods of Brooklyn. Although the environment was unfamiliar, the experience introduced him to new sights and sounds. During this time, Neil often spent afternoons at a local cinema watching musical films and westerns. Performers like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers captivated audiences with songs that blended storytelling with melody. Those early musical moments left an impression on him. Even though he was still a child, he began to understand that music could communicate feelings that words sometimes could not. It was a realization that would later influence the direction of his life. Discovering music at 15. Neil's true connection with music began at the age of 15 when his parents bought him a guitar for his birthday. It was not an expensive instrument, but to him it meant everything. He spent hours teaching himself chords and practicing songs, gradually learning how melodies worked together with lyrics. Music quickly became both a creative outlet and a way to express emotions he sometimes struggled to explain. During his teenage years, he began writing his first songs, including one inspired by a girl he admired at school. What started as a simple expression of teenage feelings gradually turned into a deeper passion for songwriting. Friends noticed that Neil seemed happiest when he was playing or writing music. While other teenagers were focused on sports or social events, he found comfort sitting with his guitar, experimenting with sounds and ideas that would later shape his future career. A student torn between two paths. After finishing high school, Neil Diamond enrolled at New York University on a fencing scholarship and began studying pre-med. His family hoped he would pursue a stable profession such as medicine. For a time, he tried to balance his studies with his growing interest in music. However, the pull towards songwriting became stronger each year. Between classes, he would travel to Manhattan's famous Tin Pan Alley, where many songwriters and music publishers worked. Carrying his guitar, he would ask if he could play them a new song. Often he was turned away or asked to leave quickly, but the experience taught him persistence. Each rejection pushed him to keep improving his writing. Eventually, he realized that music was more than a hobby. It was the path he truly wanted to follow. Choosing that direction meant taking a risk, but it was a decision that would define the rest of his life. Taking the risk of a music career. In the early 1960s, Neil made the difficult decision to leave college just short of completing his degree. Instead, he accepted a modest job writing songs for a small music publishing company called Sunbeam Music. The position paid only about $50 a week, but it allowed him to focus entirely on songwriting. The work environment was simple, and the competition among young writers was intense. Every day they tried to create songs that publishers believed could become hits. During this period, Neil wrote constantly, experimenting with lyrics and melodies while developing his unique style. Although many of his early songs were rejected, the process strengthened his skills and confidence. Life was not easy, and financial struggles were common, but he remained determined. Those years of persistence laid the foundation for the breakthrough that would soon arrive. The breakthrough of Cherry Cherry. Neil Diamond's big opportunity came in 1966 when music producers Jeff Barry and Ellie Greenwich heard his demo recordings and recognized his potential. They helped him sign with Bang Records, a label that gave him the chance to record and release his own material. Soon after, his single Cherry Cherry was released and quickly climbed the charts. The energetic song connected with listeners and became his first major hit, reaching the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Suddenly, the songwriter who had struggled for years was being invited onto radio programs and concert stages. His distinctive voice and heartfelt lyrics stood out in the growing pop music scene of the 1960s. The success of Cherry Cherry marked the beginning of a long series of popular songs that would define his career. For Neil, it was the moment when years of effort finally turned into recognition. Balancing fame and family life. As Neil Diamond's popularity grew, his schedule became increasingly demanding. Concert tours, recording sessions, and promotional appearances kept him traveling for long periods of time, while his career flourished. Maintaining balance in his personal life proved difficult. He had married his high school sweetheart, Jane Posner, in the early 1960s, and together they had 2 daughters. However, the pressures of fame and constant travel made family life challenging. Eventually, the couple separated. Later, he married Marcia Murphy, with whom he had 2 sons, but that relationship also ended after many years together. Like many performers, Neil discovered that success in the entertainment industry often required significant personal sacrifices. Over time, he worked to reconnect with his children and rebuild those relationships. The experience shaped his perspective on life and influenced many of the reflective themes that appeared in his later music. Facing health challenges. In 2018, Neil Diamond shared that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a neurological condition that affects movement and balance. The diagnosis led him to retire from touring, a difficult decision for someone who had spent decades performing live. Although stepping away from the stage was challenging, he expressed gratitude for the many years he was able to share music with audiences. Fans around the world responded with messages of support and appreciation for his contributions to music. Even after retiring from touring, Neil remained connected to his art. He continued writing songs, participating in special appearances, and supporting charitable causes. His openness about living with Parkinson's also helped raise awareness about the condition and encouraged others facing similar challenges. A legacy that lives on. Today, Neil Diamond's legacy continues through the music that generations of fans still enjoy. His songs are played at celebrations, sporting events, and concerts around the world. In recent years, the Broadway musical A Beautiful Noise, inspired by his life and music, introduced his story to new audiences. Beyond his artistic achievements, Neil has also supported charitable causes, including health research and community programs. Though he no longer tours, he remains an influential figure in music history. His life story shows how creativity, persistence, and passion can shape an extraordinary career. From a young boy learning guitar to an internationally celebrated songwriter, Neil Diamond's journey reminds us that music has the power to connect people across generations and experiences.